This meeting is being recorded.
All right, good morning, everyone. Maybe for some might be closer to the afternoon, but nonetheless, it is a Saturday, the second Saturday of September. We are kicking off the fall. I know it's been quite hot in certain areas where a lot of you have been. But more than the weather, it is your hard work and how hot you are in having a great August. And we want to keep that heat turned up and everyone smoking and working hard, doing their business as we continue this September. Believe it or not, we are past Labor Day, and that's always kind of like that kickoff point where the ending of the year is wrapping up in a couple of months, and so I hope we all can finish strong. This month is of significant importance for everyone because it is the last month of our incentive trip that we would love to see as many of you as possible joining us in Cancun. So don't forget, this last month, there's a lot of promotions going on that was announced on Wednesday that would enhance your points in getting to Cancun to join us, to rub shoulders with the leaders in the top markets, learning new things, and just having fun. And this is what this business is all about. And that's why I love our active school, because it kind of gets down to the nuts and bolts of this business and teach and gives us insight on how others are doing things and reminders on other things that are not secrets, but are more the foundation of what makes network marketing and direct selling so great. And to me, it is something that is, I don't want to say easy, but it doesn't require advanced degrees or advanced education, but it requires commitment, which a lot of us and a lot of you have. So to start us off this morning, we have two wonderful presenters. The first will be our legacy A13, Claudina Brenneman. Now, Claudina was originally from Mexico, but have moved to the United States about 20 years ago. And as I talked about education a short while ago, she is one of the most educated people that I know that we have here at ACTIVZ. She has her MBA and was a human resource director before she, got involved in network marketing. But ever since then, she has, two daughters and wanted to be a great example for them. In addition, she wanted to show them that they can accomplish anything they can do through hard work. Her husband is a marathon runner, loves to be active, just like she is. And Claudina has been traveling this summer and this fall to different markets and rubbing shoulders with those leaders and those distributors there, setting the example, doing meetings. And so she has been all over the place. And now today we finally got her to be able to present to us. And I'm so thankful for her resilience, for her commitment that she has in growing this business, and more so her knowledge that she has in sharing with you today about network marketing. And so I want to turn the time over to our legacy A13, Claudina Brenneman.
Thank you so much, Stu, for that warm welcome. And hello, everyone. It's always a pleasure to share with you. It's also a challenge for me because it's my second language. And I know I've been here for 20 years, but most of my meetings are in Spanish because most of my market is Spanish speaking. So it's always a challenge. And I love to get out of my comfort zone and share with you a little bit of my experience, my heart. And I really hope I can maybe just leave you a little bit of information that has been so important in my growth in network marketing for the past 10 years, because I started with the first company with with David Brown and Ryan Thompson, their first project, and now our last project that we're so excited about with ACTIVZ. So we're going to talk about leadership in action. And the main key here is action, right? Getting into action, because nothing happens until we are actually getting to the groove and do it, right? And there are some role models that allow for a better duplication in your business. So for me, there are 3 steps to create duplication. I think we've talked about it in several meetings. And the first one is definitely being the example. So if I am not maybe doing home meetings, if I am not on the Zoom doing trainings, most likely my distributors are not going to be able to do it because they're not going to see me do it. The second point is helping them get started the right way. And that's going to be the focus of my presentation today. And the third point is creating a culture of speed and sense of urgency. Honestly, we're hitting the 5th year here at ACTIVZ. And as David Brown is not going to allow me to lie, but when you hit the 5th year in a company, it's a very important milestone because really things are solidified and now are taking into a different mode and more of a speed mode. And I really want you, and I want to invite you to get on the train because this train is departing with or without you, and definitely want you in it. So to be able to create retention, and we've heard about this before in our organization, the best thing to do is helping your distributor get their first check in the first 30 days, because we basically increase the retention rate by 74%. That is something important for all of us to really get into the sense of urgency with our prospects to start their first meeting when they're first sign up, right? I remember 10 years ago when I joined our marketing, that a week after I got my pack, right? They're like, okay, so we're having your first, your launching meeting. And I'm like, my launching meeting, what does that mean? You can invite your friends and family. They're going to know what you're doing and we're going to be there to support you. And that was petrifying. Till this day, events get me like really nervous. And for me, that was exciting because finally, all at the same time, knew what I was doing in the best way possible because I had great presenters supporting me. So we want to get back to those basics, right? Those home meetings. So how do you get to your new distributor? How do you get your new distributor started? Well, there is an induction method that I recommend you following. And the first one is obviously congratulating your new distributor on their important decision of changing their life and their health and their finances, right? The second one, we're going to have the crucial talk. And I'm going to be very honest. Their success or their failure is going to depend 100% on them, right? And my goal as a leader is not doing everything for them. It's really teaching them how to get the fish, and they're going to be able to get it on their own. So I have that. So my goal is to make you independent in this business. Do you agree with this? Are you on it? Are you on board with that? And that if the answer is yes, then this is the path of independence, right? Because they're going to become their own CEO of their own company. So I will help you build your business, right? Me, Claudina, I'm helping you, my new distributor, build your business. And the success and the failure is going to depend on the decisions that you make with the information that I'm going to basically show you. So I use the tell, show, try, and do, right? I tell you how to invite, how to present. I'm going to show you how to do it, right? I'm actually going to do it with you. Then you're going to try it. And then last, you are going to do it on your own, right? We are never going to feel 100% ready, but we have to jump. I remember after I signed up, it was really straightforward with me. And she had that talk with me. And she said, this training I'm doing for you, you're going to have to do it with your team. Once you get your first distributor, you're a leader. and you're there to support them. And I was like, all right. So every meeting we had, I took notes and notes and notes and had so many notes because sure enough, 2 weeks later, I had a team already and I needed to duplicate that, right? So there are 3 requirements for success and independence. You have to be willing to do it, right? You got to be hungry. You have to have a burning desires for change. And for sure, you got to be coachable. You got to be open. And I know you're probably very successful like I was in my prior career, but this is different. And we really need to be willing to do things in a different way and getting out of our comfort zone. So the question is what level? The question I have with my new distributor is what level of commitment do they have? What are their objectives and goals? Because maybe their goal is only just to get healthier, right? But maybe their goal, like it was for me, was to create more money because I really had all the, thank goodness, I was really healthy. Everyone in my nuclear family was healthy, but financially we needed a change. I was sick and tired of being broke and had all the time in the world with my daughters, but no money to do anything with them. So once they tell me what their goal is, then we say, okay, what's your level of commitment from 1 to 10? Well, I have, maybe it is 5, maybe it is 8, maybe it's 10. So depending on that, I'm going to give them homework. And the homework will be all right. So then if your level is high, right, 7, 8, then you're gonna have to write down at least 100 contacts. If their level of commitment is maybe 5, well, maybe 30 or 20, right? It depends on how committed they are. And if they don't do the homework the next day, like I asked them, then we need to check again the level of commitment, right? And I'm also going to check with me my availability for that person, because some people are not going to be required of as much of my time, and my focus is definitely going to be on that 20% that are running and that they need me the most. The point number 4, this thing's covering my letters so I can't see. Okay, there are other 4 things that we do, right, that creates momentum in our organization, and I'm straightforward with them. You know, in this business, what generates income is selling product, recruiting, building our team, duplicating that, and leading, right? The first feels a lot like work, like a lot of like a job, right? And at the beginning, we're putting a lot of hours and we're not making as much money. And that's a reality. But the truth is once we have a team and we start duplicating this process, then it feels like a business. And you definitely put in less hours and your money is ridiculously high. And then, so the success, obviously, it's going to take time. It's going to take work. You're going to have to learn new skills, right? You got to focus and be willing to have that personal growth that we know what that we need, because our check is not going to be bigger than our growth as a person, as a leader. We have to have the right mindset, and we got to love what we do. And one of the things that I can tell you with this business is that I have so much fun. I feel so blessed to be part of this company, because the fun starts from the top, from, you know, with David Brown, Ryan Thompson, and Jessica, and Francisco, and Stu. They're all, Angie, they're so fun to be around. And when you're having fun, things definitely get better, right? You can get more excited. And I am just really proud to be part of this company and that building this culture in the team. And there's not going to be good or bad experiences. It's just going to be learning how to become successful entrepreneurs. I had never been an entrepreneur before. I was an employee for a long time. So it took me some learnings. Having the correct expectations, I think, is important, right? And Eric Worre talks about 1, 3, 5, 7. It's going to take a year for you to be competent, a year of focus, a year of training, a year of doing on-the-job training, right? 3 years to really replace your income. And that's great. That's huge. I don't know how long it takes to generate the income that we're making as A13s, but it's definitely worth it. And then 5 years to make a 6-figure income, very interesting, and 7 to become a world-class leader. I can tell you, I'm still in the process of I've been in the industry for 10 years. I don't consider myself a world-class leader, but I definitely feel like I'm getting there and I want to get there. So let's get the expectations right, because people sometimes think that, you know, this is going to be a really quick way to, and they get really disappointed once they hit that year and they're not where they thought that they were going to be. It really takes time. And there's people that do it way faster, right? And that's the other part. There's people that are going to be way faster, but we all have our own path, and we got to be patient, and we got to be good to ourselves and do our best possible. And I think that should be enough. There are going to be ups and downs, and I have that conversation with them, right? So when you ignore me, when I see that you kind of, you know, go your separate way, how would you want me to get in touch with you? Do I let you go? Do I just, you know, respect your space? Or do you want me to, you know, keep in touch with you more often? And these are important conversations that we have to have. Edifying, unbreakable beliefs with the product, with the company, with the comp plan, obviously the team, the system that we have, I'm sorry, I have a misspelling there, about network marketing and about yourself, really edifying what we have in place. I think is important because they need to know with examples, with testimonials, how these experiences are going to be, so they can also share with others. And assume success. We are in an industry that is a blessing, that allows you to pretty much do whatever at your own pace, right? And you can do your own goals, but allows you to be flexible and to do different things at the same time, right? You can still have a job and still do this on the side until you can actually replace your income and fire your boss and be your own boss, right? So make a commitment with authorship, make a commitment each month to really be in these schools, and just really start getting on the field more, start presenting more, start getting out of your comfort zone more, because that's definitely going to get you where you want to be. If you have these conversations with your distributor and you get them to present as fast as possible, you get them to do their own home meeting as fast as possible. Now we don't have COVID, and well, we do actually, but we don't have it as much. We're not as restricted, I should say, right? So why not start doing those home meetings? Because this is where the magic happens. You know, like Stu said at the beginning of my presentation, I just flew last month to Bolivia. I have an amazing leader, Arminda Parada, who I met a couple months ago, and she was one of the reasons I was able to reach A13. And when I got to Bolivia, I was really impressed. I've never been to South America. I was really nervous. And when I got there, the warmth of the people there, the way they welcomed me, and everything we did that week was intense. And their drive was really motivating. As you already know, Bolivia is not officially open, but they are officially full on speed with home meetings, with just activity, right? And every single day, this house that you see, which is Arminda Parada's house, is basically like an office. There's people coming in and out, presentations happening all day long. And she's an older lady, she's in her 60s, and this is what she does. And this is what she loves to do, just offering people coffee, cookies, and just chat. And I wanted to give you just a little glimpse of this week and what it represented for me and for the team. And this is a quick video. Let's see it.
Sean personas, sean personas de éxito. Yo nunca me olvidaré de
Si sabe, pues, galopar.
Contenido que te comuniques con la persona que necesitó que le entregue. I mean, I see this and I get goosebumps again. It was the best trip of my life. I can tell you that in my network marketing career, and the community that they're building is so strong and is based on good values, family values. They all pitch in. They all were part of every single thing that we did. When I landed, even before I landed to Bolivia, there was a whole program of the things that we were going to do, almost also like the type of clothing that we were going to wear. It was all ready. And wow, what a leadership that they have. I'm so very proud what they're doing. And I just want to invite you, right, to start this duplication, to get this together, start having more home meetings, start grabbing arms, because it's a different feeling. It's really a different feeling seeing you from the camera, from your cell phone while you're laying down with your pajamas, then seeing you in, with coffee, and I can hug you and I can chat with you and I can open up with you and create relationships. This is really what this business is about. And it doesn't matter how good you are doing it, but it is how good you are to duplicate it. I just came back from Mexico. We had our academy, A8 Academy, and I hope this thing plays. And one of my leaders, her name is Lucy Serra. She's an amazing A12 in Mexico. She shared this video and was one of my favorites, and talks about metamorphosis and in a butterfly. And I wanna play it for you. I want you to read the bottom. Okay, it's in Spanish at the top, and on the bottom is the English part. Let's look at it. Thompson talked about Vision 2.0, right? And what it requires for us to get there. And when I looked at this video, I see this caterpillar that literally dies, right, to become a butterfly. And I know that for a transformation, it's going to require for us to die in certain things, right? Such as fear, right? Or you can say die, kill, I don't know if I'm using the correct verb, but you gotta let go of things that are holding you back, and willing to expand your wings, because I think it's worth going through this transformation of this metamorphosis inside of us. And for that to happen, we gotta get out, we gotta get going, we gotta get into action. And let me tell you that the vision that the butterfly has, the view is going to be so much more amazing than the caterpillar. And I want to invite you to stop acting like a caterpillar, because I've been there. I've been acting like a caterpillar in a lot of times, so that has prevented me from growing. But I invite you today to really open up your wings and take a good look at what we have. And don't take that for granted, because this time is really precious. We are in the best vehicle to make things happen. And thank you so much for letting me share this with you. And I hope you have an amazing morning. I'm excited to hear from Tricia and Dr. Brett. Thank you so much, and blessings for everyone.
Wow, thank you so much, Claudina. I too, we don't call it goosebumps, but we call it chicken skin here in Hawaii. The chicken skin moments twice, actually, when you had both videos on your trip and your experiences that you shared when you went to Bolivia, and it hit home on this caterpillar dying to become a butterfly. It's amazing, the transformation. I think we don't want to go through what we call those growing pains to turn out to be something beautiful, and we can translate it to being something that's successful. And I just love the presentation that you had. But going back to that video, I just want everyone to understand that network marketing is a unique industry, as Claudina pointed out, that it is a blessed industry because you get to be as successful as you want to be, meet people, as many people that you would never meet in any other industry, rub shoulders, become friends. Claudina said that's her first time to Bolivia, and by looking at that video, I would have never thought that's her first time because of all the friends and all the comrades and people that she met there that now she gets to call her friends, her lifetime friends. And she just grew her business internationally in markets that we would never have experienced in working any other industry. And so I'm just very grateful to be part of this company, and more so of this industry, that you get to rub shoulders with those that you would have never thought possible, or go places that you would never have imagined. And so thank you so much for this wonderful presentation. Moving on, our next presenter, as Claudina pointed out, is also our legacy A12, Tricia Albrechtsen. And now, before I play her video, she actually had to pre-record it because today is her birthday. She just turned 21 years old from what I understand. And so she's partying up right now. But she had something to do today. And in fact, not only do I want everyone to wish her a happy birthday when you talk with her or when you meet her next time, but also let her know how appreciative we are, because not only her birthday was today, but keep Eric in our prayers as well. He just went through surgery yesterday, and through all what she's going through in taking care of Eric, the surgery that came up yesterday, her birthday. She also had a nephew coming home from his mission. So she's playing the full-time mom. She took the time to create a video for us that kind of hit to what Claudina pointed to and what we've been talking for these past couple of weeks in getting out of our comfort zone and applying ourselves to be committed to this business and to this industry. A lot of us already know Tricia and how great she is, the impact that she has on this industry. Both her and her husband have been doing this for about 27 years or a little bit longer than that. They've been to the top rank of 2 different companies before, and this one will be her third and hopefully their last, because she loves this company, but more so we love her and her commitment that she has. And so I'm gonna share my screen and play her presentation. Hold on here.
Excited to be able to spend a few minutes with you today at Active School. Thanks for taking time out of your schedule to watch this, and I hope that it will bless your life. Bear with me for just a second and I will get set up here and we will move on this. Okay, so today we're going to talk about commitment. We're going to talk about your commitment to yourself and your commitment to your team This is all about taking your life to a different level. When you join a company like this, if you really want to be successful, you got to get out of your norm. You got to get out of your rut. And that means being good for your word, you know, commit to your goals, commit to your upline, commit to your downline. And when you give your word, follow through with it. If you say you're going to be at a meeting, be at the meeting. If you say you're going to build this business, build this business. So without further ado, let's get into this. All right, sorry about that little technical difficulty there. All right, so talking about commitment today. Okay, so most of us have had a job, and just understand your job is not on course to change your life. Most jobs just are on track to keep us just above broke, just over broke, the JOB. If that's where you are, this is your chance to make a difference in your life if you're willing to commit with it and go. Do you see the hope and the opportunity that's offered here? This isn't just about a product. Yes, the products are amazing and will change your life now and 10 or 40 years from now. Going to make a better quality of life for you and everybody that you share them with. But the hope and the opportunity that come along with this of being able to free up your time, of being able to give you enough income coming in and residual income that grows month over month over month, that literally can replace your job, that can open up all of those dreams and hopes that you've put on back burners. Guys, this is a business that can open up every part of your life. It's based on products that are literally leading edge and will very much disrupt the medical community. And because of that, we have a very, very strong base of a company that can change your life forever, but only if you commit to it. You've got to be able to put in the commitment and be good for it, and then be consistent. So there's a lot of different commitments. First of all, I want you to commit to taking the products every day, just as regular as you're eating every day, you're drinking every day. Don't just take them based on how you feel, take them every day, because we know the science. We know that we need to be lowering our oxidative stress, we need to be lowering our inflammation, and we need to be feeding and enhancing our cellular structure, feeding our brain, feeding our digestive tract. We need to be taking every one of our trifecta every single day. And if you want to keep up on the outside, along with what's going on the inside, use your Remora every day. If you want to have that clarity and that health and that vitality, that focus, take your Arrow every day. I'm absolutely a product of the product, and I hope that you will be too, because the only person that loses if you don't is you. So commit to taking your products, be your best customer, right? Be your own best customer. Commit to talking to someone every day so that we can bless as many lives as we can. You don't know who's walking around you. You don't know what their needs are. Sometimes we do, and sometimes we, feel exactly what we need to say to talk to that person. Other times, just strike up a conversation and listen. They'll tell you what their needs are. They'll tell you what their pain points are if you'll just listen. But we have to start those conversations with people every day so that we can see their pain, we can offer solutions, we can be the answer that they might be looking for. Commit to talking to the right kind of people. Don't just go after the low-hanging fruit. Yes, we want to talk to them. We want to talk to everybody. But your business is going to grow faster when you talk to the right kind of people. People that are actually looking, people that are open-minded, people that are sick and tired of where they're at and they're ready for a change. People that are transitioning and ready to make that change, or people that are self-motivated, people that have already become successful in some other industry of their life that can now take those same success principles and build them here. Let's face it, you're hiring your managers, your vice presidents of your business. Don't you want to have qualified people in those positions so that they can help you run a big, big billion-dollar business or $1 million business? Who would you put in charge of that? Would you put in charge somebody that's very meek and mild and can't look anybody in the eye? Well, maybe. People that already are self-confident, that have those skills in place, and that can help you and run alongside you as you build your business. Commit to talking to enough people to find the ones that are actually committed, that'll stick, that'll be around 6 months or 6 years from now. It's a sifting and sorting process. And although everybody that gets in as a distributor wants to build to some degree, a lot of them are going to fall back into a customer mindset and just fall into the wings. You're looking for the people that are committed, that see this as their future, that see this as their hope, that really, really want to build a big, big business. So talk to enough people to find those that will stick. And when the ones that you think are going to do it don't give up. Because a lot of times the ones that you don't think will surprise you. And either they'll grow into those leaders or they'll find the leaders. It's such an unknown within this industry. We don't know who's going to do it. If we did, if everybody was walking around with an A to an A16 on their forehead and we knew what level they were going to grow to, it would be really easy. I'd just go out and sign up all the people with A16 on their forehead. That would be very fun. But life isn't built that way. So we put in everybody that wants a chance, that wants that hope and that opportunity. And then we find those that are committed and we stay with it long enough to find those people. Now, when you're talking to people, realize they are going to fall into one of 3 categories. So don't just sift and sort quickly and toss them to the side. Every single person we talk to should either become a distributor or a customer or a pointer. And I specifically have this conversation with people because if they don't want to be a distributor or a customer, I hope I've told them at least enough to know that there is a product here that can help them, can help the people that they know, and that there is a financial aspect here that can help the people that they know that are needing to make some extra income. So I'm asking that person to point back in the direction of the person that told them about ACTIVZ when they come across people that either need help or wealth. Ask them to be a pointer. It keeps them in the game. And most people are very willing to do that. It's non-threatening, doesn't cost them a dime. And they can, just literally say, of course, yeah, if I find somebody, I'll point them in your direction. It keeps them in the game. Commit to launch with enough momentum to get your business off the ground. ACTIVZ literally incentivizes this. They have the 500 Club in place for the people that come in your first 90 days and bring in 10 business partners at $200 or more in their first order. That's going to help you find that momentum to find 3 or 4 people to run with. If you don't find one in each leg out of that first 10, then sign up a few more. Sign up 12 or 15 or whatever it takes to find one person in each of your legs that will get going and that will run. That's how we create momentum. That's how we get your business off the ground. It's no different than a plane that expends most of its gas, most of its energy in simply getting off the runway. Once they're up in the air, the coasting is much easier, but they have to put in the effort to get off the ground. This is no different. If you're committing to build a big business here at ACTIVZ, you need to commit to launch. And if you've been in past your first 90 days, still do your launch. If you haven't got the momentum and haven't launched properly yet, it's not too late. You can do it at any point in your business. In fact, Eric and I are pretty notorious over the years. We've been in this for 30 years, and there have been many times that we've literally drawn the line. A couple times very literally gone out in the backyard, taken a stick, drawn the line, stepped over it because we'd done it so many times. We had to do it literally to get our minds in the right place and say, we are not quitting. We are starting this again. We are getting new momentum. That group of people we thought were going to do it gave up on themselves, and you can't stop that. You can't determine what other people are going to do or not do. And so we had to restart, and that's okay. But whatever it takes to get the momentum going in your business, if you're committed to it for the long haul, do it. Get the momentum going. Your whole search is trying to find leaders down each of 4 legs. It's that simple. And be committed to doing the proper behaviors, not just to the results. Oftentimes, we get really focused on whether somebody signs up or whether they're a distributor or a customer or a pointer. But remember, it's about doing the proper behaviors over and over and over. If you'll do that and take your eye off of the results, that's like a climber who's looking at every single step, every single pebble along the path, and they forget to look up. They forget to take in the surroundings. They forget to look at where they're going, and they might just end up walking around in circles. So it's important that you take your eye off the results, off the results, and put them on the big goal. The big goal is to get to the top and help as many people get there as we can, right? It's not a finite goal. It's not just get to A12 or get to A16. It's about help as many people get there as we can. At least it is for us. If you're committed on the big long haul, this is a life project. This isn't just a temporary thing. It's not a case of, oh, I want to make $5,000. This is an infinite goal for us. We want to help as many of you get to the top and get to your dreams and have that freedom of choice as possible. We'd love to help 1,000 people become millionaires. We'd love to help, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people reach the top of this company. But we would really love to have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people that are in this for the long haul with us, that are just actives for life, that are actives for life, that are going to help for the rest of their life tell people that they can make their health better, that they can make their finances better, that they can take some of that stress off of their plate, that they can have their time back. That's what it's all about. So I wanted to end by sharing a story I know that you've all heard, but I wanted to share it one more time. Back in the 1500s, a man by the name of Cortez left from Spain and took 11 ships with him. He wanted to go and find a treasure that many before him had searched for. So people like Vespucci, Vasquez, Columbus even had searched for this treasure and had not found it. Cortez was sure that it was there. So in 1519, he loaded 11 ships with over 600 men and set out from Spain to the Yucatan Peninsula. It was a really long journey. And along the way, they made several stops. Different islands would come up and they would get off and let the men stretch their legs. And he often heard grumbling and murmuring and despair from these men that were not sure they would ever find their destination, that were not sure that the treasure even existed. So he did something really unusual for that time. He talked to them in word pictures. He had them visualize what it was going to look like when they found that treasure, what it was going to feel like when they found the treasure, and walked them through that. And then they got excited again, got them back on the boat and went on their journey. Unfortunately, not too long after, the same thing repeated. The men started to lose faith. They started to lose that vision. And so he stopped the boats again, got them out, did the word pictures again, told them word stories, had them visualize in their head. What's it gonna feel like? What's it gonna smell like? What's it going to be like when you're holding that treasure? What does it look like? How heavy is it? What does it feel like? And how is your life gonna change? What are you gonna do with it? How are you gonna impact the world with it? And got them excited again. Well, eventually they got to the Yucatan Peninsula and the men got off the boats. And once again, they had kind of gone down in their faith. So he did the word pictures with them. It wasn't quite enough to get them encouraged, because now they're actually facing the people that are guarding the treasure. They're facing the people that they have to take the treasure from, and they needed a little bit more momentum and a little bit bigger push. So he did something really unusual and told his leaders to burn the boats, because now the men have no way home. They have no way to go but forward. And that gave them the push that they needed to overcome the people, get the treasure, and take the boats that they needed to be able to get home. This is an extreme story. And this isn't something that we're going to do. We don't come in and burn your boats, but we do offer you the chance to burn your boats. And all of this is a figurative burning whatever your plan A is, or your bridge back to safety, or your plan of action if this fails, if this doesn't work for you. The only reason this wouldn't work for you is if you quit, if you give up on you, if you stop telling everybody about this, or you never start telling anybody about this. That's the only way it won't work. Otherwise, if you just tell enough people, you'll eventually stumble across the people that really want to build this, and you'll accidentally grow forward. I encourage a more intentional approach, but that is a way. If you are just kind of tripping along through this thing, it still can work. We encourage you, burn those boats, burn figuratively the plan A and make this your plan A. Your job is not going to create the retirement for you that you want. Your job is not creating the wealth, the stability, the lifestyle that you want. Most people with their jobs are just barely getting by from 1 month to the next. Make this your plan A, take your treasure, change your life, because we know it's not just about the money, it's about the choices, it's about the lifestyle, it's about the freedom, it's about the time control. It's about the lives of people that you'll change. There's just something amazing about what we do, where every day you can get phone calls or texts from people telling you their stories of how their lives have changed with these products. There is nothing like that in the world. So you can commit to making ACTIVZ a part of the rest of your life, and you can live the life that you've dreamed about. Most people will never, ever get there. They'll dream about the life that they want, but they'll never have it. And for the people that commit to ACTIVZ and take it and run and build this big, you're going to be living that life every day. And it'll become your normal life, that life that people dream of living or save up and take their 1 week vacation and try and go make it work. That's going to be your regular life. You can have whatever you want from this business if you'll just give it the time, the commitment, the consistency, and the proper behaviors for long enough. You can reach your goals with ACTIVZ. Thanks for being with us today. I hope this was helpful. Have a wonderful rest of a Saturday, and go and commit to yourself, commit to your future, commit to your family that you will build this for them. Thanks, everybody.
Well, Stu, that was pretty amazing. And it almost seemed like she was right there, except she kind of kept going in and out on her presentation a little bit. So with the power of modern technology, it was great. And Claudina, that was wonderful. Thank you so much for being with us today. You know, our next speaker has been with us for a while. You know him as a member of our scientific advisory board. He's much more than simply a medical doctor or someone who spent 18 years in emergency medicine. Some of you have heard him tell his own story about not being able to receive the answers to the medical problems he was experiencing in his own life. And so he embarked upon a quest for more information, more knowledge. And once he found that, he found that he was not only able to help himself overcome the challenges and difficulties he was facing, but it actually prompted an entire change, much like Claudina and Tricia have talked about, in terms of not accepting a job, launching out, building his own business in the form of a very thriving practice that focuses on functional medicine, really getting to the root of causes, not treating symptoms, not trying to deal with something solely after it's happened, but going to actually solving the problem. And you know, it's really interesting the way that I and Dr. Earl first met, as I was dealing with an issue myself that I needed some help with, and he helped me approach it in a different way than I'd ever heard of, and it was very effective. And along the way, we started talking, and I'm probably going to insult him when I say this, but I found out that we had a lot in common. We were very much the same in certain ways. As you see him, you'll see that we're practically twins, and we really enjoy each other's company. I invited him to be a member of the advisory board, and he's provided a great contribution. So with that, if I haven't totally offended him, I'd like to turn the time over to Dr. Brett Earl. And see, we look just alike. You can see him right there. So the time is now yours, Dr. Earl, to share with the group today the things that are on your mind.
Yeah, it's true. I am a little jealous about the whole hair scenario, David. And I just haven't matured enough. I apologize for my immaturity and my lack of true understanding. The reality is, David's brain works so quickly and it burns so hot that it just fries all of the hair right off. And so we just have to realize that that's the case. And the rest of us, frankly, we're just unworthy. And we just move forward, don't we? All right. So it's interesting, as I was texting David back and forth as we were setting this up, he said that I maybe should call my presentation today Weird Links. And I'm So when he then said that we're twins, I think the insults went both ways. So there you go. All right. I do want to talk. So I want to really confirm what was said earlier. It's, we do need to look at making change. We do need to understand life differently, and give people the opportunity to really move them forward. It's very powerful what we're talking about here. And one of the key pieces for me, as far as becoming a part of ACTIVZ, was I've never been willing to accept just the status quo. I think there's more powerful answers out there. And the reason why I've been a part of ACTIVZ for as long as I have is because the science continues to prove out how amazing these products are. And so we've heard a lot of motivation about what to do, etc. I want to build your faith. I want to build your trust. I want to build your understanding of the power of these products, because they are amazing. They are world-class. There is no doubt about it. And recently, and I tried to find the website again, but I was doing some random surfing, and a website popped up that talked about butyric acid. And it was interesting because it said you can eat what you want, you can do what you want, and this will fix it all. And it was all it was butyric acid. They called it a miracle molecule. And it is true. But as I continued to read through the website, they had zero understanding of how to get it past the acid of the stomach. They had no understanding of how to get it past the alkaline of the duodenum and get it to your lower intestines, where it can actually be absorbed and do some significant work. And so basically you're taking a molecule that's, if you take their product, that's 4 molecules complex, a short chain fatty acid, but it doesn't go anywhere. And so it's really amazing the amount of thought and future thinking, progress, however you want to look at the products, and how amazing they are, and just confirm that is the case. So during my presentation a few weeks back, I talked about how there's this clearinghouse, PubMed, that is, if you will, a catalog of all of the research that's done globally. And I just want to quickly review that, and we're going to go through quite a few slides here, if you will. I just want to, again, my purpose is not to make you masters of science. My purpose is to show you how much amazing research in a lot of different fields is going on that points to these incredible products. And so again, if I just go to PubMed or the National Library of Medicine, if you will, type in NRF2, there are 23,281 research articles that pull up that have been done. So this isn't just casual, it's been mentioned. These are specific research articles that focus on NRF2. 23,000, that's a lot by any comparison. And then look at this, butyric acid, 90. So we're almost at 100,000 articles that have been done and are mentioned as far as butyric acid being one of their main foci in research. It's amazing. And again, note, some of the research, and they started looking at this butyric acid in 1909, and look at the increase, the exponential increase of research that's being done on this molecule. So we're just starting to understand how powerful and how amazing these molecules are. And lastly, curcumin, and I did type in tetrahydrocurcumin, but understand that tetrahydrocurcumin is the active component. It's the bioactive component of curcumin. And so we can include all of the research in curcumin under that molecule. And again, 19,000, almost 20,000 articles that have been done to circle around curcumin and tetrahydrocurcumin. Okay. One of the things that David and I talked about as well is, what is some of the current, what are people looking for out in internet land, if you will? What are they concerned about? And so this is a list of, and it's kept relatively up to date, but this is a list of searches that are done on WebMD. So WebMD, again, it's a search engine where people can look for certain medical questions, medical answers, if you will. And if you notice there, the top two, top three really, cold, back pain, flu, and flu and cold, COVID, et cetera, are basically very similar. I noticed that they listed cold rather than COVID-19, but the reality is most of those researchers, or most of those inquiries right now, are surrounded COVID-19. So I thought, wow, wouldn't it be interesting to see what if I typed in the trifecta with COVID, and what would we come across? And so I did a quick search, and this was actually very interesting to me because I knew I would find a fair amount about butyric acid, because butyric acid is the preferred food source of the epithelial cells that line our gut, that line our lungs, that line our respiratory tract, the entire, from the mouth down. They line our heart vessels, so your arteries, your veins. Epithelial cells line that. They're the primary cells of our skin. And I knew that butyric acid was the preferred food source, but wow, I was absolutely shocked at how much information there was with NRF2 and COVID. So I'm just going to quickly go through these. Excuse me. Again, I'm not wanting you to become scientists by any stretch of the imagination, but I want you to see just a little sampling of the amount of research and what they're showing with these, with the trifecta. So again, SARS-2 mediated suppression of NRF2. So this was very interesting because NRF2 gene expression is actually suppressed by COVID-19 in COVID-19 patients. And then they further studied and found that activating NRF2 helped to overcome COVID. Absolutely amazing. And again, one of the pieces I want to emphasize once again, I did specific search as far as COVID is concerned, but understand this will help with any virus, any infection. And one of the things these infections do in order to become more effective inside your body, inside the host body, is it tries to suppress NRF2. And there's some other articles that it's very interesting how they try to activate NRF2 in order to create this anti-inflammatory effect, help the body get over the virus. But absolutely amazing direct research on NRF2 and what it does for COVID. Again, NRF2 activator, potential therapeutic event for COVID-19. NRF2 activity declines with age, making the elderly more susceptible to oxidative stress and diseases such as diabetes, chronic inflammation, and viral infections. So again, very important that we supplement and increase our NRF2 activation. And wow, I wonder if we had anything in our repertoire that would help us do that. Oh yeah, genomics, absolutely amazing. It's been shown to be 10 times more effective than some of the previous NRF2 activators. Okay. NRF2 is a transcription factor that regulates expression of antioxidant proteins participating in COVID-19. So again, this was a research article that looked specifically at liver injury from COVID-19, and they found that NRF2 was not only preventative, but protective. This was very interesting. So this study, instead of using supplements or other tools to activate NRF2, they used low-dose radiotherapy. Okay, so low-dose radiotherapy to activate NRF2. The reason that's important is because they're trying to search for what we have. They're looking for what we have already. NRF2-mediated antioxidant response shifts to an anti-inflammatory phenotype. So the expression of genes suppresses cytokine storms. That's what kills people. Resolves inflammation, promotes tissue repair. I mean, wow, just amazing. Can NRF2 be a strategy against COVID-19? Well, again, based on what we've seen, absolutely. We propose that a multifaceted anti-inflammatory strategy, including NRF2, should be or can be deployed against the virus. Again, it helps with protein homeostasis, resolution of inflammation, facilitating repair. And it just continues on and on and on. Possible role. NRF2 clinical trials positive for patient in order to reduce their lung damage. NRF2 interacting with nutrients in COVID-19. So in this study, they actually looked and noted that countries that really had a high intake of fermented foods, which activates NRF2, now not as powerful as genomics, but they had decreased death rates, significantly lower death rates. And they attributed that to not only the fermented acid, but the fermented foods, I'm sorry, but the activation of NRF2. Recovery of long COVID-19, but with NRF2, again, reduces oxidative stress, promotes recovery, promotes healing. Okay, so that's NRF2, and I just took a little bit of a sampling. So then I looked at butyric acid in COVID. Butyric acid, natural alternative to dexamethasone. Dexamethasone is a very powerful steroid and has serious adverse effects, especially along the gut-lung axis. So it has these long-term effects, but they're using it as an anti-inflammatory. Shocking, what did they find? That butyric acid is an effective alternative to keeping inflammation, irritation, and the cytokine storm under control. This is one of the interesting things is that infections with COVID-19 actually promotes, well, let me back up and say that it uses or needs a lot of butyric acid. They found that COVID-19 patients had a lot of the metabolites, which is highlighted here, one of the metabolites. It metabolizes butyric acid because it needs it, it uses it. Butyric acid regulates, or butyrate regulates COVID-19 relevant genes in the gut and epithelium. So again, it really helps your gut, which again is lined by epithelial cells. Butyric acid, oh, this was just kind of interesting. I threw this in at the very end. This has nothing to do with COVID, but look at the potential market that we're talking with butyric acid. $405 million of revenue by 2027. Let's be at the forefront of that, shall we? All right, let's look at tetrahydrocurcumin and COVID. So again, potential effects of curcumin in the treatment of COVID-19. Decreases inflammation, inhibits the entry of the virus into the cell. So again, are we talking about something that we just take every once in a while or when we're sick? No, this is preventative. Absolutely preventative. It actually inhibits the encapsulation of the virus. So that means it's not reproducing. It's not able to move forward and infect more cells. Major metabolite tetrahydrocurcumin was more effective than curcumin in modulating asthmatic and allergy effects. Tetrahydrocurcumin exhibited protective effects against septic cardiomyopathy, which again is one of the key pieces that we're seeing with COVID. I just threw this in, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but we know that tetrahydrocurcumin has significant anti-cancer effects. It's not something we talk a lot about with ACTIVZ, but I'm just going to throw this up here just simply because it is a reality. It is some of the research that's done. Tetrahydrocurcumin helps with diabetic cardiomyopathy, decreases glucose, decreases oxidative stress. I mean, it goes on and on and on. Okay, so the next thing on the list was back pain as far as what people are studying. So what does the trifecta do for pain? NRF2, is a master transcription factor regulating an antioxidant defense, meaning it's against oxidative stress, decreases inflammation, and neuropathic pain. Increasingly clear that NRF2 interactions leads to several antioxidant enzymes, can ameliorate neuropathic or neuropathy and neuropathic pain. I mean, it just is incredible what these products will do. Trigeminal neuralgia. Wow, say that 3 times fast. It's historically dubbed as the suicide disease. This looks specifically at NRF2 for getting rid of that intense pain. They showed effectiveness. NRF2, stress response, complex regulatory network that NRF2 activates, if you will, unfolded all kinds of different things, mitochondrial biogenesis, decreased inflammation, increased your immunity. It's just, again, the trifecta is amazing. Butyric acid and inflammation. So this talked about butyrate significantly ameliorated the inflammatory response in intestinal endothelium, so it helps repair your gut. I know this is just going on and on, but I want you to see the amount of absolutely amazing pieces that this cold, and I have pulled out just a few of these. Suppresses inflammatory response, talks about how it does that. Slows the progression of atherosclerosis, so heart disease. It slows the progression of these plaques, their adhesion or sticking to the cells. And I apologize, my light here is right underneath my next tab, so I'm having to look. Significant anti-inflammatory effects. Tetrahydrocurcumin and pain. And this just talked about a lot of the different pieces of tetrahydrocurcumin and what it did as far as affecting the body. Main metabolite of curcumin against tumors, chronic inflammatory disease. Again, your inflammation goes down, your pain goes down. Preventing colon carcinogenesis. I mean, it just goes on and on. This was very interesting. THC may regulate the aging process. Absolutely, it does. And so again, we're ahead of the curve as far as these amazing products. So I want to finish, if I may, where I started, which is if we want to really look at some of these things, these diseases, these processes that people are searching for, the things, the questions they want answers for, guess what the answers are? It's the trifecta. And so again, my purpose in showing this to you, cold, back pain, flu, we talked about allergies, the fact that it helps decrease allergic reactions inside of the lungs. Helps heal the gut, migraine pain, that's a neurogenic type pain. I mean, I can go down this list and I can pull out dozens of different things that the trifecta will help with. And that's all in the research. So again, my purpose, besides boring you to death, just kidding, but my purpose really is to give you a glimpse of faith, of understanding, of process, of how amazing these products are. They are absolutely amazing, and you're going to make significant differences in people's lives. Now, I'm not suggesting that they're the silver bullet that will cure everything, but they're amazing. Do not be shy about sharing these products. The information as far as how amazing they are getting out there. People are trying to mimic and they're trying to copy. But I tell you, everywhere I look, as far as the degree of sophistication, the degree of delivery, the ability of these products to make a significant difference in the lives of people, in their health, etc. And that's irregardless of the financial benefit, but it's amazing. Have faith in your product. They're amazing. And with that, I will end and thank you for your time.
Well, thanks so much, Dr. Earl. That was amazing. One thing I've always thought is that really sets us apart from other companies is the fact that they don't have to take my word for things. They don't have to take your word for things. They can go, because sometimes people say, well, you know, of course he's a CEO and this guy's getting paid to be on the advisory board. And of course he's going to say things like that. But no, you know, you can go to PubMed, you can go and look at these things. I think it's actually, when we talk about being on the cutting edge of research, nothing illustrates that more than those graphs that you showed that indicate the tremendous increase in research in recent years in these very vital topics involving all of the trifecta. What's also really important is that how our products compare. Yes, as you mentioned, there are other products out there that seek to compete with us, but I kind of view it as kind of like when the car was invented. If you'd gone to people who had horses and horse and buggies and said, listen, you can get someplace a lot faster with this new contraption called a car. And back then they had tires that weren't very strong, motors that weren't very strong. And yeah, it had some advantages over horses for sure. But very different than the modern automobile, the Tesla or the other, you know, high-tech automobile that you can use now compared to the Model T back then. And that's really the difference between our products and other so-called competing products. People can try to take tetrahydrocurcumin, but if it's not in a Siloc with the DexKey technology, it's still not very bioavailable. you have to try and take a lot and hope that it works. And the same thing's true of butyric acid. It's going to taste nasty, it's going to smell nasty, and most importantly, it's just not going to get to where it needs to. And so that technology is really key to this whole thing. In fact, it kind of ties back to what Claudina introduced at the beginning with that metamorphosis video about the caterpillar. You know, it's interesting. The caterpillar is born with those genes. Its genes don't change, okay? Its DNA doesn't change. It changes, but the DNA doesn't, okay? So it was always programmed to have this ability, if the genes expressed, to become a caterpillar. Here's something that you may not know. Do you know that not all caterpillars who have those genes do turn into butterflies? Why? Well, because they might be exposed to pesticides. They might be exposed to certain plants that cause them that give them viruses or diseases. They might have health threats that prevent them from being able to what's called pupate, which is start that process from going from a caterpillar into a butterfly. And so if something causes a break in that gene expression, even though they had all the potential in the world when they were born, it just doesn't happen. And that's really the same thing for us. We have these genes, we have in our DNA, we have the ability to really function at a peak level, to accomplish things at a very high level beyond what we can probably really even imagine. But what comes along? Viruses, you know, environmental issues, oxidative stress, all types of health threats that are going to suppress those genes so that they can't operate the way they're supposed to. Can you imagine if you were the one that was able to, by virtue of, let's say that a caterpillar was beginning to form its chrysalis, and it fell, and you were the one that picked it back, that found it, picked it back up, and reattached it to the leaf, so it was able to continue to make that chrysalis and become that butterfly. Wow, you made a big difference in that caterpillar's life. You allowed it to become what it was fully meant to be. Well, that's really what we're doing here. By reaching out and introducing these products to others, you're figuratively picking people up from where they fell, because their genes aren't firing the way they're supposed to. And your involvement, the fact that you spoke out and reached out to them, is going to help them in ways that they can't really even imagine. And sometimes that's called the ripple effect. Sometimes that's called the butterfly effect, okay? In terms of an action that creates an entire ripple, like tossing a stone into a pond. Who knows where those ripples are going to go? And, you know, I think what's really interesting about that is that this past week, were some anniversaries for me in terms of some events that caused those ripple and butterfly effects. This week marked the anniversary of me being invited to get together with a person in Fairfield, California, and have a meeting a couple of hours before I had to catch a plane back from Oakland to Salt Lake City. And this person was talking to me about a business opportunity, about getting together and perhaps creating a business. And you know, this person is Ryan Thompson. And we talked about how each of us, independent of the other, had reached out to Dr. Joe McCord and found out that he had created Pathways Biosciences, and that he had some very powerful NRF2 activators. And we were both interested in working together. But you know, Claudina also talked about commitment. And so at the time, I was interested, but I wasn't really ready to commit fully. I wasn't really willing to burn the boats, as Trish talked about later. And so it was kind of, are you familiar with the story about the pig and the chicken? Okay, the pig and the chicken were walking down the street one day, and they passed a church. And at the church, they were giving a breakfast to people in the area and people who didn't have a lot of food. And so the chicken said, you know what, we ought to get involved here. I think we ought to provide a breakfast of bacon and eggs for these people. And the pig said, whoa, wait a minute. That's a contribution by you, but it's a total commitment for me, okay? And so sometimes we're willing to make contributions, but we're not really to make a total commitment. And at that point, when I was talking with Ryan, I wasn't ready, okay? I had had some degree of success on the job jobs. I'd had some failures in terms of things that I had tried to do that didn't turn out the way that I wanted. That's life, right? You have some ups, you have some downs, and the timing just wasn't ready, and wasn't right for me. But fast forward about 6 months later, I was ready to burn the boats. I was willing to, like Ryan and like others, take, in this case, the boats were money, right? Take monies that I was saving for retirement and putting in other things and saying, okay, and by the way, you have to have a very understanding wife when you do things like this, and say, okay, I think this is the right thing to do. We're going to turn all these resources, we're going to do this, and we're going to create this company called ACTIVZ. And we're going to provide products that have never really been introduced to the world before. And we're going to get together and we're going to do this. Now, some people might say that that was an act of blind faith. Not me. I don't think it was blind faith at all. I actually think it was really educated faith. And what I mean by that is that I knew about Ryan. I knew about Angie. I knew about the Stu and Jessica and the team that we're putting together. So I had no doubts about the team. I knew about Dr. McCord and I knew about the science. So I knew about all that. Now, one thing I didn't know when we dropped that stone in the pond and created ACTIVZ is that somewhere down the road, there would be a meeting in Bolivia with Arminda Parada and a celebration about ACTIVZ. I didn't foresee that happening. I didn't know that I would meet Noemi or Susanna. I didn't know that I'd meet Claudina. I didn't know that I'd meet Jessica, Diane, any of you. Okay, I didn't know that. Some of you I did know a little bit prior to the creation of ACTIVZ, but now just think about that ripple effect, that butterfly effect of that one meeting at a Panera Bread in Fairfield, California, when someone was initially told, no, I don't think I'm ready. And it took some continuous dripping by Ryan. And if you know Ryan, you know that once he gets something in his head, he doesn't really stop. And so and I'm glad for that. I'm glad that he didn't. And we got together. And literally, it's not just a matter of our lives being changed. It's not just a matter of dozens of lives being changed, even hundreds. It's now thousands and tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of lives being changed because we decided to not just make a contribution, but to make a total commitment. And burn those boats and say, this is what we're going to do. And I'll tell you what, our lives and many of your lives and the lives of people that you're changing will never be the same again. You know, this week also marked the 40th anniversary of me entering into a training facility where I first started learning Japanese. And I thought, wow, that's interesting. Where did those years go? That changed my life because I'd had 1 year of college up to that point. I'd been an economics major. I decided later on when I went back to college, to become a Japanese major. That was a big change. That affected my life in terms of what I did with business. It affects my life now in terms of the friends and the contacts that we have in Japan. And all of those things were kind of unforeseen at the time, but and at the time I didn't know, and I can tell you for the next couple of months, I wondered if I'd ever be able to learn what some described as the devil's tongue in Japanese, and whether I'd be able to do that or not. But you know what? Something happened. And apparently I had the genes if expressed properly, would help me to learn Japanese to some degree or another. Now, I'll never be like Stu, be as fluent as him, but I get by okay. And I'm just so happy that those ripple effects, that those expressions of genes and commitment and friendship and other things came together in a way that has created something that perhaps none of us really could have foreseen. But think about the lives that have changed. So my challenge now at the end of this the ACTIVZ school is to think about what ripples, what butterfly effect are we going to cause from this day forward? Whose lives are we going to change? Who are we going to help change from a caterpillar to and make sure that they can really reach their goal of becoming a butterfly? Who are we going to help? Who is out there that if we get involved, they learn to fly? If we don't, they don't. And I think if we look at every single person that we come in contact with as someone who has immeasurable potential, immeasurable capabilities, and while they might not accept it at the time, the very fact that we're making a difference and causing them to, and hoping that they will accept something from us to express their potential is something that will keep you going through those dark days when people are saying no, or sometimes worse, they say yes and then they don't do anything. Yeah, that's just frustrating, isn't it? Because you see the potential. You want them to do it, but we can't want it more than they want it. But I'll tell you what, one thing, if you keep this in mind, that the speed of the leader is the speed of the pack. So whatever you're doing is going to be, whatever pace that you're keeping, whatever actions that you're doing, that's what other people are going to follow. And if you're not happy with what's happening in your group, I'd say just spend a little time looking in the mirror. I don't spend too much time because it gets a little depressing. And by the way, Claudina, when you described Arminda as being an older woman in her 60s, as someone who's 59 now, I'm telling you, that's not so old anymore. So I know you're young and beautiful and all that kind of stuff, but be a little more sensitive to us old people, okay? And no, I'm just kidding. But I will say that I do believe that tetrahydrocurcumin and the trifecta has slowed down the aging process. So even though chronologically I'm 59, I'm feeling a lot younger on the inside. So anyways, we go forward from this active school. Know that we all of our thoughts during our waking hours, and actually, frankly, a lot of our thoughts during our sleeping hours are on you and how we can help you and your families, your friends, and your organizations really achieve what you're all genetically programmed, spiritually programmed to achieve, which is wonderful, great things. And so thanks for being with us today. Stu, I'll turn it back to you, buddy.
Thank you so much, David. Those are wonderful closing remarks. Appreciate it. I think the hair gives you away sometimes on your age, but I tell you what, I would have never thought 50, maybe 49, but not 59. But I wanted to thank you for being such a wonderful CEO that leads by example. I also want to thank Claudina and Tricia and Dr. Earl for their wonderful presentations. I think we all was edified today in learning new things about leadership in action, about being committed, and about our wonderful products and the technology that it has to change our bodies, to help our bodies to live the lifestyles that we want to. Now, I was made aware, I made the comment in the very beginning that we had these September promotions going on that affects our incentive trip. And so I would want to share those promotions and that announcement because we all want you guys to be in Cancun with those who qualify, with our executives, so we can learn from each other and have fun. So this is what this September promotion changes include that affects how you qualify for the incentive trips. The first is the enrollment cap point will be increased from 75 to 100. So we'll go back, and if you have more than 75 points, we can make it up to 100. Or for those who think that, oh, I'm not going to enroll anybody this month because it's capped at 75, feel free to keep enrolling because we will cap it at 100 instead. So 25 additional points can either be rewarded to you or will be rewarded to you as you continue to enroll. Now, once again, these are just for this month's promotion, but by enrolling people, it affects your bonuses, fast start bonus, as well as your royalty bonus going forward. So it's not just a one-time thing, it's an occurring thing that you'll be able to realize in your residual income month over month. So once again, from 75 to 100. In addition, we will be changing the personal rank advancement that you have depending on what rank you are. As you can see, say we go from A7, right? So instead of 10, it actually goes to 25 and so forth. So be aware that we are increasing it. So the more you get rank advance, or the higher you rank advance, the more points you're able to earn towards this Cancun incentive trips. And finally, your personal enrollment rank advance. So as your personal enrollments, those that you enrolled, you also receive points from them, but we're increasing those just as much. So be aware of this. We'll be creating a flyer that will be going out, but I wanted to make sure that each and every one of you that's participating in our active school today can learn about this firsthand. So let those in your groups know that we are increasing points on our enrollment, your rank advancement, and also your personal rank advancements to the following. And so once again, we'll be making this announcement and then a flyer that goes out. So we look forward to seeing each and every one of you in Cancun, which will be happening next year in April. Look so forward to it. In fact, I want to see how brown David Brown's head can get from the sun. Not red, but brown. So thus his last name being Brown. So anyway, I wanted to close real quick by thanking each and every one of you for participating. And I am actually going to do something that David and Angie might not like, but today, since each and every one of you participated, when I do the wheel of names, we will be spinning for incentive trip points, not product reward points, but incentive trip points we are going to be giving away. So David, we are going to call on 3 lucky winners today, and we'll be giving them 10 incentive trip points. So thank you all for joining and to continue to join our active school. And we always wanted to show our appreciation. And this month, we are definitely showing our appreciation by giving away, once again, 3 lucky winners, 10 incentive trip points. Okay, everybody ready? Oh, here we go. Okay, our first winner is, dun, 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 dun. I better write this down because this is very important, right? Our first winner for 10 incentive trip points is an iPhone. Who is on iPhone? I don't know. If you are in the chat, then we need to know who you are. I don't know who that is. I know there's some that has their name on iPhone. So if you are, please let me know. If I don't get that in the chat, I might have to spin for 3 more. Okay, here we go. For our second winner is, dun, 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 dun. Oh my, Claudia Valdez. Woohoo! Congratulations. 10 incentive trip points to you. All right, and finally, here we go. Here we go. All right, it is Gary Upchurch. All right, congratulations to Claudina, Jerry, and an iPhone winner. Let me just check real quick. Who was that iPhone? I see iPhone typed iPhone. You can either text or chat me, but just in case, I want to make sure that we have actually 3 winners. So what I'm going to do is spin one more, David, and see who that lucky person is that we can announce as having 10. It is Aaron Cosmit. Oh my! Congratulations, Aaron. Appreciate you. Appreciate everyone for joining us today. I hope you were all edified with the wonderful presentations made by Claudina, Tricia, Dr. Earl, and our closing remarks of David Brown. And
Hey, Stu.
yes.
It looks like we might know the identity of the secret iPhone. I think it might be Coco. And so we don't want to
It is
have her
Coco.
lose it. So I think what we'll have to do then is give both 10 to Coco and to Aaron. And
We have to, yes.
or get them together, put it in the middle, and let them race to see who can grab those points. No, that's okay. We'll just do 10 points to each. And that wouldn't be fair. Coco's pretty fast. She's a runner. I'm not going to do that to Aaron. So we're going to just give them both the 10 points. All right.
I love it. I love it. Thank you, David. And thank you all that won. And once again, David quoted this by saying, speed of the leader is the speed of the pack. So we look forward to each and every one of you being that example in your pack, in your organization, in your market here in the US and wherever you are working in, whether it's in Mexico, Bolivia, and throughout the world. And so thank you again for joining us on this Saturday morning. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. We love you and we appreciate you. You all have a great day. Thank you.
See you, everybody. Great to see you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, David. Thanks, Stu.
Thank you all.
Bye.
See
Thank you. Great information.
Bye.
Great information.
Great active school. Thank you, everybody.
Thank
Thank
you
you,
all.
Claudina.
If you don't want those 10 points, I want it.
Dr. Earl. I know. Gosh.
Join us on our calls this
So
month. You never
cool.
know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
See you all. Have a great day.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
guys.
Bye.